From Hollywood, the National Broadcasting Company presents The Big Show. The first half hour presented by the Reynolds Metals Company and starring the glamorous, unpredictable Tallulah Bankhead.
America, we're going to fill your parlor full of stars.
For the next hour and 30 minutes, you'll be entertained by some of the biggest names in show business. Such bright stars as
Joan Davis,
Herb Jeffries,
Evelyn Knight,
Groucho Marx,
George Sanders,
Meredith Wilson,
and my name, darlings, is Tallulah Bankhead. Well, darlings, this has been the week. We came out here to Hollywood to do our show, and I was looking forward to having a week of fun and excitement. Well, the first thing that happened was that I missed the big fight. I forgot to reserve a table at Ciro's. The captain wouldn't let me in. How high tone can you get? I kicked him in the shins and walked out. And then I came to the studio for rehearsal of this show, and I ran into this revolting little group of mummers.
Mama's little baby loves shortening. Mama's little baby loves shortening bread.
Groucho Marx, stop that. Now, that's what I mean, you see. Ever since we started rehearsing this show, you've all had something funny to say. Well, enough funny stuff. Let's stick to the script. This audience came in here to kill an hour and a half, and we're going to kill it for them. Now, I want strict attention to business. Is that understood? Are there any questions? Just raise your hand if you have a question. Yes, Groucho, what's your question?
Do you think Eisenhower will run for president in 52?
Very funny indeed.
Not to Taft, it isn't.
Now, that's the kind of stuff that makes people write letters complaining about the show. Now, last week we received a letter from a man in St. Louis who said there was no discipline on this show. Well, from now on, nobody talks out of turn unless I recognize him. Is that clear? Are there any questions? Yes, Joan Davis?
I have a sister living with her husband in St. Louis.
That is not the question.
Oh, is that her husband my sister's living with in St. Louis?
That's a question for your sister. All right, Evelyn Knight, your hand is up. Do you have a question?
My mother hasn't been well. Could I go home now and look after her?
If you wish. I could sing your song, darling.
Well, my mother listens to this show. I'll do her more good by staying.
Another comic. If it weren't for the glasses, I'd belt you one.
Tallulah, I'm not wearing glasses.
No, but I am. You'll do your mother more good by staying. Very funny indeed.
Not to Taft, it isn't.
Groucho, Taft has nothing to do with Evelyn's mother.
Oh, mudslinging. It's going to be that kind of a campaign.
Tallulah, I brought you some flowers.
Oh, magnolias. How sweet of you, Herb Jeffries, and they're so fresh. There's still a little dew on them.
Only 20 cents. I didn't have enough money.
Oh, well, now, let's cut out the wisecracks. There must be discipline here. We're going to have it quiet here, even if I have to stop talking. Nobody talks on this show unless I give them permission. May I say something, Tallulah? Yes, you may, Tallulah. Thank you, darling. I'm running this show, and what I say goes.
Tallulah.
Yes, Joan.
Would you say Joan Davis so I can go?
Now, look here, Miss Davis.
Oh, you can call me by my first name, Tallulah.
Oh, Tallulah Davis. How do you do? My name is Evelyn Marx. But you can call me Evelyn.
No, very funny.
Not to me, it isn't.
George Sanders, darling, I'm sure I agree with you.
You do agree with me, Tallulah, but only when taken in small doses.
You're not going to start something with me, are you?
On the contrary, Tallulah, I'd like to start something with you. How about having dinner with me at Romanoff's?
Me, darling? Oh, well, I'd love to. Do you have reservations?
Only mental. Since you're the star of the show, I'll overlook them. You mind if I bring along another girl?
Another girl? Then why do you want me?
I always carry a spare.
Well, I feel like a fifth wheel. As a matter of fact, I feel like a fifth. But there will be no more questions at this time unless there's a question our sponsor, the darling Reynolds Metals Company, wants to ask.
No questions, Miss Bankhead, but Reynolds has several answers. You know, it was Reynolds who brought competition into the aluminum industry, the American way to stimulate production and keep price down. Now you see aluminum all around you. Reynolds aluminum windows, rain gutters, and reflective insulation on modern and modernized homes. Reynolds lifetime aluminum roofing on the farm, reflecting heat so poultry and livestock produce more. Your supermarket is a brilliant display of Reynolds aluminum foil packaging. Even your refrigerator is a daily demonstration of Reynolds aluminum, with its aluminum freezer compartment, trays, and shelves, with all its bright, bold covers of Reynolds wrap, the original and genuine, the pure aluminum foil. It's a great age, the age of aluminum. Reynolds aluminum. Hey, Tallulah, I didn't know you had a sponsor. You must be in the chips. Reynolds aluminum. That ain't tin.
Ladies and gentlemen, Groucho Marx.
Tallulah, now that you've got a sponsor, marry me and make me rich.
Marry you? What are your qualifications?
I'm a fortune hunter. But before you say yes, how about these Reynolds people? Are they good for the money?
Reynolds? Reynolds just happens to be a very big aluminum man.
Aluminum man? I'll bet it must be cold dancing with him.
Darling, nobody's cold dancing with me.
Are you happy with this aluminum man?
Happy? They call me Talluminum Bankhead. But let's leave Reynolds out of this.
Leave my best man out of it? I want him to give the bride away. Just name the day, Tallulah, and when I marry you, every day will be a bank holiday.
Well, Groucho...
Don't talk, Tallulah. Just shake your head and say yes. Maybe some money will fall out. And when we're married, we'll go on a honeymoon visiting your bank vaults. And every year on our anniversary, we'll come back to the vaults and count your money. That'll be our anniversary vaults. How about it, Tallulah? Doesn't that sound like a get-rich-quick scheme to you?
Exactly what it sounds like. I don't want that kind of a deal. I want a man who will sweep me off my feet, give me a lift. A man who will open new doors for me and whisk me away into the night at breathtaking speed.
Leave it breakneck.
Okay, darling. Come to think of it, I don't want a husband. I want a chauffeur.
And a
You're
new
all
pair of
wrong
glasses.
for me, Groucho. You haven't mentioned a word about love.
What was that, Tallulah?
I didn't hear you either, Doug.
I can't get her to repeat it. Tallulah, are you interested in swapping glasses?
Well, I can't.
Tallulah, you haven't mentioned a word about love.
That's my line.
Oh, yes. I like your line better. Oh, I'm sorry, Tallulah. All right, I'm not afraid to say it. I love money.
Oh.
That took care of that joke.
Love at first sight draft? Well, I hope you two are very happy, but our marriage is off.
Well, now that we're divorced, I'm entitled to half the money.
All right, you can have half the money. You give me half your loves.
That's one apiece.
Groucho, let's drop this subject. I'm very busy now.
What's the matter? Am I keeping you from something?
Yes, you are keeping me.
Well, marry me, and I'll make an honest woman of you. How about it, Tallulah? Say the word and you'll be mine.
Aluminum mine, you mean?
Please, Tallulah, say the word and you win me. Say the secret word and you win $100.
Quite a choice. The jackpot or the jerk pot.
You know, Tallulah, I've got the proposition that you're turning down my marriage proposition. Or are you just interested in the proposition? Well, I'm not, because I'm not a blackguard or a scoundrel or a cad. Well, maybe a cad. Well, not exactly a cad, maybe a Plymouth or a DeSoto. But if you want to turn me down, it's all right. I don't need your money. I'm well fixed. Man came in and fixed me this morning. I don't have to beg. I only do it because I like to wear old clothes. What's your excuse, Tallulah?
I beg your pardon.
There you go, begging again.
Groucho, I know you're well fixed. I looked you up and down in Broad Street.
That's Brad Street.
Not with you, it isn't. And now it's time for a song. Say
Really?
thank you.
Are you going to cut out that whole long dumb speech? I don't like that cut, Tallulah, because...
I thought we had troubles with Jimmy Durante, God bless him.
Well, how about God blessing me as long as... All
Always.
right,
Doctor.
thank you. For my first number tonight, I would like to sing, if you'll pardon the expression, the sextet from Lucia.
Groucho, you're not going to sing.
Oh, you don't care for a sextet. Okay, how about a quartet?
No.
Okay, how about a quart?
Groucho, please.
Well, then a very small song. I'll sing Two Fingers Have Coming Through the Rye.
With Old Man River as a chaser, darling.
Tallulah, why do you want to be chased by Old Man River when you can be chased by Old Man Marks?
Now, Groucho,
We've been
we
doing
have
better with
singers
the
on this
ad-libbing.
program who can really sing. And I want to introduce one now, a dynamic singing talent who has
That's
just
right,
been
Tallulah,
held over.
dynamic.
Will you be quiet, sweetheart? I'm introducing a heavenly friend of mine. A dynamic singing talent who has just been held over at the Macombo here in Hollywood after a triumphant tour of Europe, Herb Jeffries. Herb, darling, do you know Groucho Marx?
Oh, hello, Groucho.
Hello, Herb. Sit down. I was just going to sing a song. Well, Tallulah, what would you like to hear?
Herb Jeffries. Now go away and let him sing.
Tallulah, I know how to get him off stage. Groucho, would you mind going across the street and getting me a corned beef sandwich?
Why, of course, Herb.
Herb, how did you do that?
I've heard this guy sing before. He sends me.
Herb Jeffries sends everybody. Get sandwiches for everybody. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, here is Herb Jeffries with Meredith Wilson and the Big Show Orchestra and Chorus singing his most exciting record hit, Flamingo. Meredith, if you please.
Flamingo, like a flame in the sky, flying over the island to my lover nearby. Flamingo, with your tropical hue, for it's you I rely on, and a love that is true. The wind sings a song to you as you go, a song that I hear below the murmuring pond. Flamingo, when the sun meets the sea, say farewell to my lover and hasten to me. Sings a song to you as you go, a song I hear below the murmuring flamingo. When the sun meets the sea, say farewell to my lover and hasten to
Divine herb, darling, simply divine. What a golden voice. And now here's the aluminum voice of our darling sponsor, Reynolds Metals, about another kind of show.
There's a big show going on every day in your neighborhood supermarket. It's the world's biggest and brightest array of fine foods and other packaged products. And what's brightest about it? Aluminum. Reynolds aluminum foil. Yes, on shelf after shelf, you'll see the special gleam of richly colored foil labels and packages. America's most famous brands, dressed in the modern material that reflects quality and protects quality. Reynolds aluminum foil is a solid sheet of metal, impervious to moisture, light, odors. Keeps cereals and cookies crisp. Keeps butter, margarine, cheese at their best. And frozen foods, and candy, cigarettes, chewing gum. Reynolds aluminum foil is the scientific protection for dehydrated soups, yeast, dried fruits, and for many vital military supplies. Most American women know a lot about aluminum foil from their use of Reynolds Wrap, the bright food saver that makes kitchen work easy. Next time, take a look around your market. Behind the gleaming colors of the packages you reach for, that's aluminum. Reynolds aluminum.
And now, darlings, I want you to meet...
Hi, Tallulah.
Joan Davis. Joan, I was just about to introduce you to our audience here.
Oh, thank you, but don't bother. How could I remember all their names? Hey, Tallulah, I heard you were in Paris last month. How was it?
Ooh la la. Have you been to Paris, Joan?
Oh, sure.
Oh, how was it?
No, la la.
Well, I don't understand why you're looking as attractive as I've ever seen you look.
Now, that's a dirty crack if I ever heard one.
Oh, no, darling Joan. I adore that gown you're wearing. That satin skirt is beautiful, and that red leather belt. But what's that crinkly material on top?
Skin. Do you like it, Tallulah?
Well, it grows on you. But I thought I saw polka dots.
Polka dots? Where? Oh, those are moles.
No, a moleskin dress.
Yeah. But what good was it? I spent all my money on clothes and went over to Paris and thought I'd come back with a title.
A title? Oh, I know. You mean like a countess or duchess.
No, Mrs. How'd you do over there, Tallulah? What'd you come back from Paris with besides perfume?
Well, darling, my private life is my own. Quite secret. And will be out soon in a book which will sell for $5. Would you care to reserve your copy now?
$5 for a book? What are you wasting your time writing books for? Why don't you get a fella to like you and marry him?
But suppose I don't like him. You wouldn't want me to marry a man I don't like.
Well, why not? That's the best kind of marry. Then if he gets sick, you don't care. You know, but I've had trouble getting any kind. Last week was my big chance, Halloween. I went to more parties and I tried that old trick-or-treat gag.
Oh, what's that, dear?
Those I couldn't trick, I treated. But it didn't help.
Well, if I were you, Joan, I'd give up.
I tried that, too.
Well, the trouble with you, Joan, is that you don't understand men, darling. You see, men like to feel superior.
Well, let them feel.
Joan, I think... darling, I think you're a little too frantic about this whole subject, you know. Do you have to go out every night? Now, why don't you stay home and read a good book some nights?
By myself?
Well, of course, by yourself. Many a night I stay home and read a book.
By yourself?
By myself.
Well, who peels the apple for you while you're reading?
I don't eat apples while I'm reading.
Well, how do you moisten your fingers when you turn the page?
Joan, that is unimportant.
Well, that may be unimportant, but the important thing is who have you got to look over you and tenderly and whisper, "For crying out loud, turn out that light so we can go to sleep."
Well, I see we're back to that again. Joan, I think it's time for another song.
Thank you, Tallulah. Now for my second number.
But not you. Oh, Joan, you know Groucho Marx, don't you?
Oh, sure.
Hey, Joan, this may be a prospect.
That old prospector?
Oh, what do you care? Just try that a trick and treat.
No, you can't teach an old dog new treats.
Say, Joan, are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Neither am I, and let's keep it that way. Now for my third number.
Groucho, we have a talented singer who's on this show, and she's going to sing now. And here she is, the lovely singing star, Evelyn Knight. Evelyn, this is Groucho Marx.
Hello, Groucho. Oh, I thought you had a heavier mustache than that.
I am not Groucho.
No, Evelyn, this is Groucho Marx.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, Groucho.
Say, a woman on the show. Hot diggity. Evelyn Knight. Mother told me there'd be nights like this. Are you married?
I'm spoken for.
Oh, a puppet. Who speaks for you?
Her songs speak for her. Evelyn, would you mind singing now? What is your song, darling?
It's their wonderful new tune, A Little Boy.
A little boy. Congratulations, darling. Have a cigar. Meredith, would you kindly act as godfather, if you please?
Little boy, you're gonna be sorry. A little boy, you're gonna be blue. So blue. But each time you broke my heart, you made me cry. No more will I try. Little boy,
Little bad boy,
you're gonna be sorry. Little boy, you'll never see me. A little boy, then you'll be free. Well, I'm gonna start over where I began, and maybe you're just not in my plan. Little boy,
you are a boy.
you're gonna be sorry.
Sorry, little boy. You're gonna be sorry.
Yes, you are.
A little boy.
Little boy.
You're gonna be blue.
So blue.
But each time you broke her heart, you made her cry. Now no more will I cry, little boy. You're gonna be sorry.
Don't know why you treat me this way, but I'm gonna have my happy day. Why should I be worried about you when you always make me feel so blue, little boy? You're gonna be sorry. Little boy, you'll miss my love. You're gonna miss my caress and my embrace. Somebody will take my place.
You've been a bad little boy.
And you're gonna be sorry.
You've been a bad little boy.
Yeah, you're gonna be sorry.
We'll be glad, little boy, 'cause you're gonna be sorry.
While reading a few nights ago, I came across a story called The Mysterious Mansion. It seemed to have all the ingredients of a fine radio drama, requiring a very fine actor to play the principal role. And so, here is George Sanders in Honoré de Balzac's The Mysterious Mansion.
My old home near Vendôme is not a place of mystery. It is a shrine to the love and devotion of my wife. That is why I've kept it closed to the world these 10 years past. It has been closed since the night I learned to trust my new bride completely and forever. Because trust is a very sacred thing. I won't be needing you anymore tonight, Antoine.
Oui, monsieur.
Oh, Monsieur de Merette, you return early.
Yes. I left a very interesting discussion at my club. Very interesting. Is Madame still suffering with her headache?
She has been most distressed, monsieur. She's resting.
Well, I shall go to her sitting room and say good night.
Perhaps I should prepare her, monsieur. She will want to make herself pretty for you.
Oh, you needn't bother, Rosalie.
But, monsieur...
I said you needn't bother. Good evening, my dear.
Good evening, my husband.
Isn't it wonderful what an hour can do for an illness? When I left after dinner, you looked quite peaked. Now you're positively radiant. Your color rivals the color of these roses.
The servants thought I might like to have them.
How thoughtful of them.
Was your evening in the club pleasant?
Yes. We discussed roses there, too.
Oh, really?
You know, there are quite a few Spaniards in the town, my dear. Prisoners of war on probation.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yes. As a matter of fact, one of them must be quite taken with a lady.
Oh?
They have no money, of course, but one of them made a trade with Duvivier, the florist. A ring in exchange for a dozen roses. Duvivier was showing the ring about.
My head is really splitting, monsieur.
The ring was of silver and ebony, with a crest. The crest of the de Feredia family. You were once engaged to a member of that family, weren't you, my dear?
Yes. Yes, he was just a boy. It was an arrangement made by my father. He was, killed in the war.
Killed or taken prisoner?
In either case, monsieur, it doesn't matter.
On the contrary, it matters a great deal.
Why?
Because, madame, there is someone in your closet.
No.
I heard the door to that closet close just as I entered this room.
You are mistaken.
Am
Wait. You are a gentleman, and I'm your wife. If you open that closet and find no one there, remember this. All will be over between us.
You're right, madame. A marriage founded on mistrust is no marriage. And your face is so beautiful. So pure.
Thank you.
I ask only one thing of you. Swear to me before heaven that there is no one in there. I will believe you. And I, in turn, will swear that I will never open that door.
I swear to you, there is no one.
A little louder, please, my dear. I swear before heaven that there is no one in that closet.
I swear before heaven there is no one in that closet.
I apologize for being a suspicious fool, my dear. The incident is forgotten. I'll have Rosalie bring us some refreshments. And Rosalie,
Yes, monsieur?
some tea for Madame. And when you've served it, go to the village. Bring Gorenflot, the stonemason, to me at once.
At this time of night, monsieur?
At this time of night. Yes, send for him. Send for him quickly. She was cool and beautiful, my wife. A lady. She knew Gorenflot, the stonemason. She'd watched his skill as he built the house for us, brick by brick, for our honeymoon. That night she watched him again. But the color of the roses was gone from her face. She was pale as ash, as pale as death.
Why do you do this? Why are you walling up the closet?
Because I swore to you that I would never open it. Even in so small a promise to you, I would not risk the slightest failure of my memory.
But I have gowns in there. My trousseau.
Oh, you shall have all new things, my dear.
C'est fini, Monsieur de Meret.
Very good, Gorenflot. You may go.
But I must clean up.
I said you may go. Now just leave the rest of the mortar there. I'll need it to fill the air chink that Madame paid you to leave. Fear worked on her face like a sculptor. The poise was gone. The lady was gone. She leaned against the wall. Then she slid to my feet.
Oh, please. Please.
It's fortunate I was mistaken about that closet. If there were anyone in there, there can't be air for more than an hour.
He's just a boy. I thought he was dead.
You really are ill tonight, aren't you, my dear?
I beg of you. I'll do anything you say.
Of course you will.
Call the workman back. Break the wall. Let him out of the closet.
I'm afraid I shall have to stay the night and take care of you. You're on the verge of delirium.
He can't breathe in there.
But there's no one in there, my dear. I know that for a fact. Because my wife told me so. She told me so. She swore before heaven that there was no one in there.
Our sincere thanks to George Sanders and Irene Tuttle, who played the wife, and also to Leanne Biat and Barney Phillips for a sterling contribution to the big show. Now, don't go away, George. I want to talk to you. But first, an important reminder from the Reynolds Metals Company.
The mention of aluminum may remind you first of gleaming airplanes in the sky. And that's important. More than 2/3 of a big bomber's weight is aluminum, with Reynolds a major supplier, both of the metal itself and of finished or semi-finished aluminum parts. Parts fabrication in which Reynolds pioneered saves freight charges and scrap loss, takes a load off the nation's transportation system, and speeds the assembly of planes, or for that matter, of automobiles, refrigerators, washing machines. To meet military requirements first and then civilian needs, Reynolds is rapidly expanding its total aluminum production. But parts fabrication helps too, by making each pound of aluminum go farther. It's another chapter in the story of Reynolds, pioneers of progress through aluminum.
Now, before I get back to George Sanders, I want to take a moment here to ring my chimes. This, darlings, is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
This is The Big Show, Act Two, and here again is Tallulah Bankhead.
George Sanders, may I compliment you on your performance in The Mysterious Mansion?
Please do.
You were simply superb.
I agree.
I knew we'd find one subject we were both crazy about. George, though, I think you were a little too hasty in your decision in that dramatic vignette you just played.
Indeed.
Oh. Well, now, just a supposition, George, but if you found yourself in just such a predicament, would you still be in favor of walling up the closet?
Well, that would depend on whether I was the husband or the man in the closet. Now, how about you, Tallulah? Would you stand by and let your husband wall up the closet with the young man in it?
Well, I hadn't thought of it, but if my husband called in a contractor to put up a brick wall, the least I could do before that contractor put that last brick into place would be to throw in a deck of bridge cards.
One for bridge?
Darling, my closet, there'd be enough for bridge.
Contract, of course.
Well, darling, let's get out of the closet and back to Hollywood. I am disappointed you haven't dropped over to see me at my hotel since I got into town.
I don't play bridge, you know.
Well, whatever it is we're playing, I'll let you win. The cards will be stacked.
As are you.
Darling, do you see why I have him back on the show week after week after week? I'm just so weak. Of all the men I know, George, you're the only one who makes me feel so completely a woman.
Pity.
Oh, George, I can imagine if you and I were married, we would be deliriously happy.
Yes, you would be.
We'd be together every minute of the day, wouldn't we, George?
Well, hardly. I leave the house at 6 to go to the studio, and I don't return till late at night.
How happy would I be at that?
Deliriously. After all, you would catch fleeting glances at me as I walked from the house to my car.
Well, I was thinking of a closer relationship.
Well, I'd let you count my laundry.
But, George, marriage is more intimate than that.
Oh, we could share the top drawer of a dresser.
Oh, you're a doll. And I'll bet you'd even give me free tickets for all your pictures.
Only those in which I don't share a percentage of the profits.
That figures.
Oh, Tallulah, what you doing?
Nothing. I've just divorced George Sanders.
Next.
Young woman, would you mind removing your scrawny arms and bony elbows from around my neck?
Hey, Tallulah, he likes me. He called me young woman.
Tallulah, I find myself suddenly bored. I must go sit somewhere.
A pity.
Oh, boy, what an actor.
Yes, quite an actor. But if you were married to him, you wouldn't like it. The nerve of the man. He'd let you count his laundry.
While he's wearing it? See, why don't I get a juicy acting part like that when I come on this program?
You?
Yeah, why not? What am I, chopped liver?
Well, so, darling, up to now, we've been pretty nice to our audience, so let's change that. You can act.
Oh, swell, but I'll need a man to act it with me.
No, you won't. I'll get Groucho Marx.
Well, will you ask him?
I already asked him. He said he'd do it.
Very well, ladies and gentlemen, a repeat performance of The Mysterious Mansion, Servant's Entrance Edition. Meredith, music, if you please.
I should have suspected something the day my husband married me and carried me across the threshold of the new house he had built for us. What a house. 1 room and 42 closets. We were so happy. At the end of our first year, we had a little addition. Another closet. Now we had 43 closets and no rooms. I still didn't suspect anything. I'm a schmo. Then, one day, I reached into a closet to get a pair of shoes, and there were a pair of feet in them. I went to put on a pair of stockings, and there were a pair of legs in them. Then one day, I went to put on my girdle, and it snapped at me. That's when I knew my husband had been stretching things too far. So I invented this diabolical scheme. I sent for Gorenflot, the brick mason.
I'm Gorenflot, the mason. You sent for me?
Yeah, Mr. Gorenflot. How much do you charge to wall up a girl?
It all depends. How tall are you?
No, not me. It's for a tall blonde, about 5'8", weighs 120 pounds.
Here, you take the bricks and wall me up with her.
Hey, come out of there. Don't go into that closet.
I gotta measure this girl for a brick wall. Pardon me, miss. Would you be wearing high heels with this brick wall, or do you want it evening length?
He was very conscientious. 2 weeks later, he was still in there measuring her up for the job.
This job's gonna take more bricks than I thought. Have you met the young lady in the closet? Her name's Miss Standish, Catherine Standish.
How do you do, Miss Catherine Standish? You've been an ugly mess through this whole brick. But as for you, Mr. Gorenflot, start putting up that wall. Well, it takes a heap of bricks to make a Homer brick.
You can say that again.
You want to bet? Patiently, I waited for Gorenflot to finish the wall. 2 years later, I looked in again. He hadn't even begun to build the wall.
Hi, glad to see you.
What about this wall I hired you to build? Are you Stalin?
No, I'm Gorenflot. And this is Mrs. Gorenflot. Catherine, this is Joan Davis.
Mrs. Gorenflot? What do you mean, marrying my husband's girlfriend? That's not cricket.
That is not a cricket. That's Mrs. Gorenflot.
What about the wall?
I need more bricks. I used all the bricks I had to build a nursery.
A nursery? Well, that was just dandy. The wall wasn't taking shape, but Mrs. Gorenflot was. 10 years later, I returned. Not one brick had been put up. The place was deserted. I opened the door of the closet. It was empty. I stepped in to take a better look.
Quick, honey, hand me those bricks. Put the kids to work. Heave-ho. Come on, Gary, Philip, Lindsay, let's go. More bricks, more mortar. There we are. She's all walled in. What you have to go through to get an apartment these days.
The moral to this story is that if your husband has a skeleton in his closet, just make sure it isn't you.
Thank you, Joan Davis and Groucho Marx, for a soon-to-be-forgotten performance.
Thank you, Tallulah. Now, for my fourth number, I will
And
sing...
not on this show, you won't. We have a man on the show who not only surprised us with his singing voice a few weeks ago, but who also composes the songs he sings. I'm talking about George Sanders. Darlings, here he is, singing his latest composition, When You Make Love, in a beautiful arrangement especially prepared for the big show. Meredith Wilson, the Big Show Orchestra and Chorus, present for the first time When You Make Love. Music and lyrics by George Sanders. Meredith, if you please.
When you make love, are you so
When you make love, are you lonely? And do you only sigh with regret? When you make love, is there someone? Is there someone that your heart will not forget? Can you still tremble with rapture at the touch of a hand? Thrill with emotions you can scarcely command. For when you make love, are you lonely? And can you only sigh with regret? can you still tremble with rapture at the touch of a hand? Thrill with emotions you can scarcely command. Or when you make love, are you lonely? And can you only sigh with regret?
Bravo, George, darling. Beautiful song and beautifully done.
Well, if you want people to write their own songs, why didn't you say so? I have a song here that I wrote by Bert Calmer and Harry Ruby. And so for my fifth number...
Just a minute, Groucho. What is this mad thing you call a song?
It's a love song, but not for human beings.
If there are any human beings listening, this is your chance to tune out.
This is a love song for idiots.
We've got the man to sing it. What's the name of it, Precious?
It's a beautiful thing called Show Me a Rose or Leave Me Alone.
What? Whatever that means.
It's a torch song, Tallulah.
Yeah, and after you hear it, you'll all want to put a torch to it. Meredith, the acetylation or something. How do you pronounce that? Acetylation. How do you pronounce it, Groucho?
I knew she'd bluff
Well,
that.
something to do with the torch, if you please.
Ever since songwriters starting writing songs, they have written songs about a rose.
Lovely rose.
Red roses, blue roses, old roses, new roses, roses from the south and east and west. But here's the rose song that I love the best. Show me a rose, I'll show you a girl who cares. Show me a rose, or leave me alone. Show me a rose, I'll show you a stag at bay. Show me a rose, or leave me alone. She taught me how to do the tango down where the palm trees sway. I called her Rosa Mia, and she called a spade a spade. Show me a rose, I'll show you a storm at sea. Show me a rose, or leave me alone. One night in Omaha, Nebraska, we watched the clouds roll by. I said, my dear, how are you? And she whispered, so am I. Show me a rose, I'll show you a girl named Sam. Show me a rose, or leave me alone.
Show me a rose.
Show me a rose.
A fragrant rose.
A fragrant rose. Make believe that you don't know me until you show me a rose.
Oh, Groucho, that was insanely divine, an idiot's delight.
Speaking of idiots, I was delighted the way Meredith played that number for me.
Thank you, Mr. Marks.
Ladies and gentlemen, our conductor, Meredith Wilson. Meredith, you thanked the man. Now go back to your place on the podium because I would like to preclude the possibility of you and Groucho becoming engaged in conversation. So goodbye, Meredith.
Just a minute. Are you trying to break our engagement? You're just mad because I wouldn't marry you. Come here, Meredith.
Yes, Mr. Marks?
Kiss me, you fool.
Please, Mr. Marks, I'm a married man.
That may please your wife, but it doesn't please me.
This may be the end of civilized conversation as we know it today. Meredith, ever since we were in Paris with the big show, you've changed. What is it?
Well, sir, Miss Bankhead.
Even after Paris. Oh, you were in Paris, eh? I didn't know that, Meredith. I'll bet you had a gay time there, eh, Meredith? I get sued by Jerry Lewis. And Martha Ray.
Oh, yeah, the very first night I was there, I went
That's
to hear...
the line. That's the line.
I wanted to tell you, Mr. Marks, about the first night I was there. I went to hear a symphony.
You went to hear a symphony in Paris?
Yes, but I was disappointed. It was quite wearing. It was nothing.
They were wearing nothing?
No. No, that wasn't what
This man keeps feeding me straight lines like that. We may be off the air before you know it.
If this conversation keeps up, I may just die.
Now, what were you saying, Meredith?
Well, I said I went to the symphony.
Oh, yes, and you said they were wearing nothing.
I? Wearing nothing?
Oh, you were wearing nothing.
No, I didn't say that, Mr. Marks.
Oh, come now, Meredith. Compose yourself. What kind of a musician are you that you can't compose yourself?
Obviously, I'm not going to die, so I may just kill myself.
Mr. Marks, I like to straighten you out.
Please. First, I'd like to know if we're engaged.
On the other hand, I may kill them.
No, I mean about the symphony, Mr. Marks.
Yes, how about you running around to the symphony wearing nothing? Isn't that a little conspicuous even for Paris?
No. You see, I went to the symphony with my wife. And she took so long dressing, she barely made it.
She barely made it? Oh, she was the one that was wearing nothing.
Because if I kill myself, I only make myself happy. If I kill them, I can make everybody happy.
Mr. Marks, you don't follow me.
Of course not. I'm following your wife.
No, Mr. Marks, I'm not the only one who was disappointed in the symphony. Fred Allen was with me, and Fred thought it was Waring.
What did you say about Fred Waring?
No, I didn't say anything about Fred Waring.
Is that nice? What is it, professional jealousy? Fred Waring says nice things about you.
Now, just a minute, Meredith. Will you go away?
But, Miss Bankhead, I was only telling Mr. Marks about the symphony over in Paris. Actually, I was only disappointed in the string section. Gee, Miss Bankhead.
They were wearing G-strings?
Well, that tears it. Groucho, stop that. Meredith, darling, get back on that podium and play a number. Oh, I know. Say it again. Darlings, Meredith and the orchestra in a bright and sparkling version of a catchy tune. Say it again.
Say it again, say it again, say it again before this magic night is through. It's the nicest thing to hear, so won't you whisper in my ear and say it again as I have said it again and again to you.
Say it again.
Say it again.
Say it again.
Say it again. Say it again and again and again, my darling true. I heard you say that you love me, but please refresh my memory and say it again so I'll be sure it's true. Darling, I can see you're in love with me, but once before you go, honey, won't you kindly tell me so? Say it again, say it again. Oh, and again and again and again and again. It's the nicest thing to hear, so won't you whisper in my ear? Please say it again. Why won't you say it again? Say it again and 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 again, my darling, do. I heard you say that you love me, but please refresh my memory and say it again. Why don't you say it again? So I'll be sure it's true.
Very nicely done, Meredith. And don't come down off that podium, because I want to take just a moment here to ring my silver anniversary chimes.
Chimes of silver.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
This is The Big Show, Act 3. This portion brought to you by Chesterfield. Sound off for Chesterfield. Get something new, something no other cigarette has. Chesterfield mildness, plus no unpleasant aftertaste. By Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia. And by Dentine, the gum with breathtaking flavor, and Chiclets, the candy-coated gum with a flavor that won't chew out. Here again is Tallulah Bankhead.
The blind date has been the subject of much humor, but on a blind date, a girl has one advantage. She can always turn around and run when the man with the two heads approaches. However, there's a more highly organized type of blind date that is not so easily avoided. It takes place at large dinner parties, and your seating card becomes something like a sweepstakes ticket. Your dinner partner may look almost human until you sit down beside him. What can happen then is best illustrated by Dorothy Parker's classic, But the One on the Right. I knew it. I knew if I came to this dinner, I'd draw something like this baby on my left. They've been saving him up for me for weeks. I can hear them saying, "Oh, let's stick him next to Tallulah. She talks enough for two." Oh, I should never have come, never. I'm here against my better judgment. That would be a good thing for them to cut on my tombstone. Wherever she went, including here, it was against her better judgment. Well, this is a fine time of the evening to be thinking of tombstones. That's the effect he's had on me already. And the soup hardly cold yet. I should have stayed home for dinner. I could have had something on a tray, like the head of George Sanders or something. But I shouldn't have come here. Oh, well, the soup's over anyway. It now belongs to the ages. And I have said precisely 4 words to the gentleman on my left. I said, "Isn't this soup delicious?" That's 4 words. And he said, "Yes, isn't it?" That's 3. He's one up on me. But we're in harmony. Ah, yes, we agree like lambs. We've been all through the soup together and never a cross word between us. It seemed rather a pity to let the subject drop now that we're in such perfect accord. I believe I'll bring it up again. Wasn't that delicious soup? He said, "Yes, wasn't it?" His IQ must be remarkable. Here comes the fish. Goody, goody, goody. We got fish. I wonder if he likes fish. Yes, he does. He says he likes fish. Ah, that's nice. I love that in a man. Look, he's talking. He's chattering away like a magpie. He's asking me if I like fish. Now, does he really want to know, or is it only a line? Well, I better play it cagey. Well, I'll tell him. Oh, I like fish pretty well. Now, there's a fascinating bit of autobiography for him, I tell you. He's thinking about it, too, deeply. While he's wrapped up, I might try my luck with what's on my right. No, not a chance there. The woman on his other side has him cold. All I can see is his shoulder. It's a nice shoulder, too. A nice, nice shoulder. All my life I've been a fool for a nice shoulder. All right, sister, don't glare down at me. You saw him first. I guess you win. Possession is 9 points of the law. Keep your Greek god. I'll turn back to my Trojan horse. Oh, he likes something else. He likes cucumbers. Isn't that sweet? And potatoes. He likes potatoes, too. Why, he's a regular old nature lover. That's what he is. Oops, he's chattering again. Words are simply pouring from him in a passionate torrent. He wants to know if I'm fond of potatoes. No, I don't like potatoes. There, I've done it. It's our first quarrel. He's fallen into a moody silence. Silly boy. Did you think I was a painted doll with sawdust for a heart? Ah, don't take it like that. I have something to tell you that will restore your faith. Yum, yum. I do like cucumbers. There, he's better already. He speaks again. He says yes. He likes them, too. We're sweethearts again. We both like cucumbers. Only he likes them twice. Well, I'd better let him alone now so we can get some food, get his strength back. That conversation took a lot out of him. Well, well, well. Well, here we are at the entrecote. Button up your entrecote, you belong to me. I should have brought something along to keep me busy, like my top bureau drawer. I could have tatted it up here on my lap. I wonder if there are any old copies of the Reader's Digest lying about. I wonder if they wouldn't like a little help in the kitchen. I wonder if my hostess would think it strange if I asked for a pack of cards. Or a couple of goblets of cyanide. Even if I had to drink one myself, it would have been worth it. I just proposed a toast to cucumbers. You'd have to drink the other one. Oh, dear, I wonder what's going on with the Greek god on my right. Oh, no use. There's still only the shoulder, the nice, nice shoulder. Wonder what the woman's like that's got him. She needn't think for a minute that I've given up. He's still using a knife and fork. While there are hands above the table, there's hope. I could drop a spoon beside him or a fork. I might even stick him with the fork. Just a gentle prod, light jab. Well, I suppose out of obligation to my hostess, I ought to do something about saying a few words to this macaw on my left. What shall I try? Shall I tell him about my summer on the Riviera? No, that's no good without lantern slides. I'll bet, though, if I started telling him about that one night he listened, I won't tell him. It's too good for him. Hasn't even touched his wine. How can I tell him that story to a man who doesn't touch his wine? But the one on my right, I could tell him. He touches his wine. Touches it, indeed. He just threw it for a loss. Whoops, old Silver Tongue is off again. Why, he's mad with his own perfume. He's asking me if I like salad. Yes, I do. What does he want to make of that? I've got to throw the wine for a loss, too. Purely defensive strategy. Oops! Oh, all over my Greek god. Well, I attracted his attention, all right. He's smiling, though. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I am sorry. Really? You don't? Oh, you're so sweet. You have? Oh, no. I've been having a terrible time, too. Was she? Well, you should listen to what I drew. Oh, I don't see how we could. Yes, I know it's terrible, but we're trapped. How can we get out of it? Well, yes, that's true. All right, then. All right. Right after dinner, I'll say I have this horrible headache, see? And you say you're going to take me home in your car and... Thank you, darlings. Thank you. You're very sweet. Of course, I know I'm not going to get away with Miss Parker's gentle spoofing of the male-female battle without somebody on the show doing their version of my version.
Tallulah, I'd like to talk to you about that vignette you just did.
I knew it, didn't I tell you? But did it have to be you, George?
I come now to the defense of that poor maligned chap seated on your left. Have you considered what might have been going through his mind while sitting next to you?
No, I haven't, but I have a feeling I'm about to.
You're right. Meredith, will you set the table? I mean the scene. Same dinner party, same man. I knew it. I knew when I came to this dinner party I'd draw something like this. It has been preordained. When a hostess has two particularly moronic, unwanted, unmarried females and is looking about for a man to sit between them, inevitably that man is I. This is my destiny. Well, soup's over, and the one on my right has spoken exactly 4 words to me. Isn't the soup delicious, she'd said. The newspapers are filled with all the horrors of this atomic age, and all the conversation she can manage is, isn't the soup delicious? Well, I gave her the only honest and forthright answer a man can muster for this occasion. Yes, it is, I said. Ah, this has made quite a hit with her. She's smiling now. I think she's smiling. It's difficult to tell through that smear of red across her lips. But now her teeth break through, and the gold comes up like thunder out of China across the bridge. And as we say farewell to her teeth, slowly sinking into her throat, we turn to our left, where we behold a sight no human eye has ever formed.
Hiya, kid. Didn't I meet you at the races at Santa Anita?
Great Scott, a talking horse. She fidgets nervously with her service plate. Obviously, she misses her feed bag. Oh, the one on my right has another question. Do you like fish? She asks me. Do I like fish? Why else would I be sitting between 2 of them? Yes, I do. I like fish, I tell her. She's so pleased. She smiles again. That lipstick seems to be alive. It's moving all over her face. What an interesting shade of red. That must be fire engine red. And her face looks as if a fire engine just ran over it. There she goes, touching it up. I wonder if she'd come over to paint my country place and paint my barn sometime. She wouldn't have to use a brush. 3 or 4 kisses would do it. And now the one on my left has nuzzled up to my shoulder.
Have you ever been to Santa Anita?
Santa Anita, indeed. I only bet on them. I don't hobnob socially with them. But the one on my right has speared a cucumber and holds it up for my inspection. I nod appreciatively. I even try a short round of applause. She bows. And now a horse face on my left paws at my sleeve and snays.
I'm sure I met you at Santa Anita.
She asks me to retrieve her slipper. She's thrown a shoe. So here I sit, trapped. Why couldn't I have been seated at the other end of the table? There seems to be something going on there. People are sitting there. But here I sit in the paddock, listening from a distance to the gay laughter and sparkling repartee of what seems to be a most bewitching creature who sits surrounded by all the men at this party. All the men but me. I must maneuver myself out of this trap. Now, let's see. My chair pushed back. So, a quick goodbye to the one on my right. A sharp giddy up to the one on my left. And I'm free. I've broken through the chains of my destiny. I'm free now to join the little group surrounding that gorgeous woman at the far end of the table. Quickly, I elbow my way through the crowd. I'm strangely drawn to this beautiful thing. I feel I must see her up close, speak to her. Where did she go? This must be she. My dear, you are without a doubt the most fantastically exquisite creature I've ever seen. Come away from this sordid place and let me take you somewhere, anywhere.
How about taking me to Santa Anita?
Grief, it's Santa Anita. How did you get here so quickly?
Fast track.
Is that all you can talk about?
Yep, I got a one-track mind.
Thank you, George Sanders and Joan Davis. That was quite dull. And now let's hear our two good friends, being Crosby and Paul Douglas, sound off for Chesterfield.
Sound off, sound off, sound off for Chesterfield. Smokers are changing from coast to coast to the cigarette that gives them most all over America. There's a swing to Chesterfield with this great new thing.
Mildness plus,
No aftertaste.
mildness plus,
No aftertaste.
no unpleasant aftertaste in Chesterfield.
That's right.
Come on, Paul, catch on to this now. Get along, get in here.
Listen, brother, this ain't no joke. Chesterfield's the one I smoke. What you want in a cigarette, you'll find in Chesterfield, you bet.
Sound off,
For Chesterfield.
sound
For
off.
Chesterfield.
Try a pack of Chesterfields. Do it.
Today.
Darlings, since we have two great singing stars on the big show this week, how could we help but come up with a great showcase for their talent? So here are Evelyn Knight and Herb Jeffries in a stirring arrangement from Jerome Kern's immortal Roberta, The Haunting Yesterdays. Meredith, if your orchestra and chorus are ready, if you please, darling.
Days I knew as happy, sweet, sequestered days, olden days, golden days, days of mad romance and love.
Then youth was mine, and truth was mine. Joyous, free, and flaming youth, forsooth, was mine. Glad am I, sad am for today I'm dreaming of yesterday. Days I knew as happy, sweet, sequestered days. Golden days, golden days, days of mad romance and love. Youth was mine, truth was mine, joyous, free, and flaming life, forsooth, was mine. Glad am I, sad am I, for today I'm dreaming of yesterday.
The next time you suffer from pains of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia, take Anacin. You'll bless the day you heard of this incredibly fast way to relieve these pains. Now, the reason Anacin is so wonderfully fast-acting and effective is this. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. Thousands of people have received envelopes containing Anacin tablets from their own dentist or physician. And in this way, discover the incredibly fast relief Anacin brings from pains of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. So, the next time a headache strikes, take Anacin for this wonderfully fast relief. Anacin. A-N-A-C-I-N. Anacin comes in handy boxes of 12 and 30, economical family-size bottles of 50 and 100. Get Anacin at any drug counter.
Tallulah.
Yes, Groucho.
I heard your show last week, and you did the life of Durante. How about doing the life of the Marx Brothers?
Have you had one, darling?
Very funny indeed.
Not to the Ritz brothers, it isn't. But, Groucho, we haven't the people with whom we can do that life story.
You don't need people to play the life of the Marx Brothers. Besides, what's the matter with using girls to play the parts? Tallulah, you can play Harpo.
But Harpo never talks.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, Ella and I can play Harpo, too. I've always wanted to see two beautiful women standing around with nothing to say.
Hey, speaking of beautiful women, how about me?
Yeah, speaking of beautiful women, how about you?
Boy, I wouldn't give this spot to a dry cleaner.
Well, Groucho, if you're going to do it, let's do it. Let's start with your childhood.
No, that's no good. We had a very unexciting childhood.
Well, when does your life get exciting?
I'm still waiting.
How about starting with when you went to school?
We didn't start with school. We were very smart children. We went right to college.
College? Oh, well, I suppose you went to Yale or Harvard.
No, Tannenbaum.
Tannenbaum?
What a school. What a spirit. I still remember the old school song. It was a real gem, written by Harry Ruby, who was the janitor. In the foothills of Nebraska, 6,000 or 7,000 miles from Alaska, there's a college gaining fame by the name of Tannenbaum.
By the name of Tannenbaum.
When the football season is here, the students get together and cheer. Fight on for Tannenbaum. Be there on the spot to give all you got for Tannenbaum. On the campus, in the classroom, fight, fight, and do it with all of your might. Right. Be there to do your share. No matter if you reside in Peru or Guam, give your might for and fight for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Tannenbaum.
Oh, fight on for Tannenbaum.
Be it on land, up in the air, on the sea, or under the ground.
Fight, 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 fight.
Scholastically, the school is highly rated. Its curriculum is rather complicated. And by the time a student's graduated, he hasn't learned a doggone thing except to clear his throat and sing, fight on for Tannenbaum. Be ready to die without knowing why for Tannenbaum. In the mountains, at the seashore, fight, fight, and do it with all of your might. Right. Don't flinch or give an inch. Keep singing its praise for all of the days to come. Go all out for and shout for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and
Groucho, thanks for your life story. And let's hear the rest of it, darling, preferably 100 years from now. Meanwhile, let's hear from one of our sponsors. Darling, here's something of real interest to you.
Chiclet. Chiclet.
Taste the difference when you chew. Flavor on the outside, inside, too.
Chiclet. Chiclet.
Time the difference by the clock. Flavor lingers, tick, tick, tock.
Chiclet. Chiclet.
Count the difference. Count 'em, cousin. Every box, an even dozen.
Chiclet. Chiclet. Chiclet.
Get the big nickel's worth. You can taste the difference, time the difference, count the difference. And whether you chew gum to keep your mouth fresh and clean, or just for the plain fun of chewing it, you'll be better off on every count with Chiclets. They're flavored on the outside, flavored on the inside. With Chiclets, you don't chew the flavor out, you chew the flavor in. That's why the goodness lingers on and on.
They're candy-coated.
Flavor-coated.
Pleasure-coated.
And more fun for your money. So get the big nickel's worth.
Chiclet. Chiclet. Chiclet.
Well, darlings, and you people in the cast, we've about come to the end of the hour and a half. I guess you all understand about your checks. They must be at my hotel no later than tomorrow morning. Are there any questions? Yes, Joan?
Tallulah, am I allowed to say that I appeared on this program through the courtesy of Columbia Pictures, where I'm now making a picture entitled Harem Girl starring Joan Davis? Can I say that?
No. Darling, we don't allow any free advertising.
Oh, well, then I won't say it.
Good night, Tallulah.
Oh, good night, Herb Jeffries. You were divine.
Oh, thank you. May I say I appeared here on this show through the courtesy of the Macombo restaurant where I've been just held over for another 2 weeks?
No. No, Herb, I told you no advertising, darling.
Oh, well, it's not important. Good night, Magnolia. Tallulah.
Tallulah?
Yes, George, but no advertising now.
No, of course not. I just wanted to present you with this little gift.
Oh, thank you. What is it, darling?
Here you are, Tallulah. 2 tickets to a preview of a motion picture.
Oh, how charming of you. What picture?
It's a new picture called Ivanhoe.
Oh, but that sounds too divine. Who's in it?
I am. Well, and also in it Joan Fontaine and a couple of tailors, Robert and Elizabeth. It will soon be showing at all neighborhood movie houses, along with other fine motion pictures made by the motion picture industry. And remember, friends, movies now are better than ever.
Oh, I know they are, I know. And thank you so much, George, for not insisting on a plug. Good night, George. Good night.
It is now. Good night, Tallulah.
Tallulah, may I say I appeared on this show?
Evelyn Knight, you may not.
Well, I only wanted to say that I appeared on the show because I have no place else to go on Sundays.
Good night, Evelyn.
Magnolia? I just wanted to say that I appeared here tonight through the courtesy of the Income Tax Department, whose pictures will soon be appearing in all of your neighborhood banks. And remember, friends, money is better than ever.
Good night, Groucho, darling. Well, darlings, we are heading back to New York tonight, where our next... We're heading back to New York tonight, where our next big show will include such names as Morton Downey, Jerry Lester, Ann Sheridan, Sophie Tucker, June Valley, and many others, and, of course, our very own Meredith Wilson and the Big Show Orchestra and Chorus. Until then, may the good Lord bless and keep you, whether near or far away. George?
May you find that long-awaited golden day today.
Groucho.
May your troubles all be small ones, and your fortune 10 times 10. Joni.
May the good Lord bless and keep you, until we meet again. Evelyn?
May you walk with sunlight shining and a bluebird in every tree.
May there be a silver lining back of every cloud you see. Fill your dreams with sweet tomorrows. Never mind what might have been.
May the good Lord bless and keep you until we meet again.
May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet. Till we
Good night, darlings.
This portion of the Big Show has been brought to you by Chesterfield. Sound off for Chesterfield. Get something new, something no other cigarette has. Chesterfield mildness plus no unpleasant aftertaste. By Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia. And by Dentyne, the gum with breathtaking flavor, and Chiclets, the candy-coated gum with the flavor that won't chew out. Act One of the Big Show each week is presented by the Reynolds Metals Company. The Big Show is produced and directed by D. Engelbach and written by Goodman Ace, Selma Diamond, George Foster, Mort Green, and Joel Murcott. The chorus was conducted by John Rarig, and special musical arrangements were by Sidney Fine. This is Wendell Niles speaking. Here are Phil Harris and Alice Faye next on NBC.